Alright, looking at our distance formula. Our distance formula is pretty similar to our Pythagorean theorem, except now we're just using the distance between 2 points. And I'll show you what I mean by similar. So what we're doing when we have 2 different points is really we're taking this change in our y direction, which is this red line, and we're taking this change in this x direction, and we're accounting for them in terms of a straight line, which you can see would be this line created, which is the hypotenuse. So really we're kind of applying that Pythagorean theorem when we are using the distance formula. But the distance between any 2 points is just going to be the change in x squared plus the change in y squared, and then you take the square root of that whole thing. I've got 2 examples shown below. If we look at the graph, my first point we'll say is A, second point is B. Point A is at 3 in the x and 5 in the y. Point B is at 5 in the x and 2 in the y. So now to use this formula, I would take the square root of x2, and we'll say that that one, for all accounts and purposes, is b. So we'll say x2 is 5 minus x1, which is 3, squared, plus y2, which, remember, this is our second one, would be 2, minus y1, which is 3, squared. Simple math. 5 minus 3 is 2, so I've got 2 squared. 2 minus 3 is 5, so I've got 5 squared. If I add those up, I will get that the distance between A and B is equal to the square root of 29, which I could leave like that. I could find the decimal value if I wanted to, but that works for me. Now, we're not always going to be given a graph. Sometimes we're just given the 2 points. And it says, hey, find the distance between these two. That's fine. We can do that. Again, we take our x's, which is my 8 and my negative 6, and we're going to subtract. 8 minus negative 6. Be careful with our signs there. 8 minus negative 6. Plus my y's, which would be 1 minus 3, squared, which is going to simplify to the square root of 8 minus negative 6 will be the same as 8 plus 6, which would be 14 squared, plus 1 minus 3 would be negative 2 squared, and that squared will get rid of that negative for us, so we'll get the square root of 14 squared, which is 196, so I'll take out 196 here. I'll add that to 2 squared, which is my 4. I'll get the distance between these two is going to be the square root of 200, which, again, I can leave like that, and that'll be my answer, or I can evaluate it and get my decimal.